What if you could totally reprogram your mind so that your worst response to reality ever is neutral, like isness, like curiosity? For example, like you walk out of the mall, you went shopping to get a nice new pair of brown shoes, and you're very excited because you love these shoes, and you got a great deal, and they look great, and you're very happy, and you walk out of the mall, and your car has been stolen, and you know it because you had a great parking spot, everything was going your way this day, and your car is stolen. Like maybe you see some glass, like the window was shattered. So you know it's stolen. It's not a friend playing a prank. You know the car is gone. It's been jacked. What if, by virtue of having done some serious mental toughness training and reprogramming of your mind, your automatic, unpremeditated default response is, car's stolen. Didn't see that coming. What do you know? All right, what should we do? Like, that's it. Imagine. Now, I'm not saying that that's the best response possible. What I'm saying is any response is possible if we program ourselves. And the auto response to reality, not just that example, but every single time that we don't get what we want, the auto response is negative, right? So we're going to cover 3 questions here. All right, the first question is, how do you typically respond to the unwanted? Reflect on that. Typically, how do you respond when you don't get what you want? When a thing happens that you didn't want to have happen, which by the way, only happens like always, especially if you play golf. But really, think about how many times during the course of one single day does like a thing go, quote, wrong. Like you get something in your eye, like, God. Like even just little things, right? You pop a button off on your shirt, you cut yourself shaving, whatever, a million things, right? Most of them little things. But like you have an auto response of, oh, shit, or damn, it's low grade, it's having a problem. So how do you typically respond to the unwanted? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, how do you want to? Which, by the way, is a question that most people don't even ever ask themselves, because you're not in the thinking like, oh, I could actually choose. I could opt to train myself to have a totally different auto response to like everything. I could go bizarro world and flip everything around and totally reverse my habits of response to, like, when stuff doesn't go my way, I'm like, yes! And when stuff does go my way, I'm like, God! I could technically do that. No, I don't recommend that. Unless you're trying to prove a remarkably bold point. I don't have time for that. What I do, however, recommend, based on my lifetime career, right, in helping people achieve excellence, based on all my practice and research, is choosing higher grade responses, because it's so simple. We are at our best when we feel our best, right? We deactivate all forms of intelligence when we go below the proverbial O line, or low O line meaning observation line, or neutral. So when we're creating, when we're thinking, when we are easy for me to say, try that one. When we are thinking our ways into low grade states, complaining, we are deactivating all forms of intelligence. So my recommendation here, by the way, is, I'll just insert this here in the middle of the video, is it's like high grade responses. Smart. They happens to be amazing. So the second question, how would you like to respond? Like, okay, so let's go back to the example of the car being stolen when you come out of the mall. So I personally would like to respond actually to all of life with enthusiasm. That's my preference, right? I'm not saying it should be yours, but that's mine. Enthusiasm happens to be one of the most intelligent states that we can think our way into or create for ourselves or put ourselves into. Again, releasing all the good chemicals, right? The inner pharmacy stuff like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all that, all the things that have us feel good and be good. Simple as that. So my preference, since we get to choose, is I walk out of the mall and the car's jacked, and I go, ha! Well, look at that. Car's stolen. Wow, man. What do you know? All right. What great thing can we create from this that wouldn't have been possible if not for this, or at least will be inspired by this? That's a pretty badass response. That's where I'm going. And I invite you to join me. Now, the third question is, then, all right, how do we get there? How do we have that become the new default? All right. So the simple answer to the third question is practice. Practice your ass off. And let's make this as simple as possible. All right. So what we're doing is we're creating new neural pathways so that it is an auto response, right? So you don't have to premeditate it. You don't walk out of the mall and go, oh, the car's stolen. How do we feel like responding to that right now? What do you want to do? What do you want it to be? High grade, low grade, neutral? No, it's just like auto, which is what it is now. Like the auto response is, shit, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. Right? And by the way, let's take a moment on that. That's all learned. That isn't even like, don't even act like that's like the real you. It isn't. It's just what you've been rehearsing so much that it's automatic. That's called conditioning. All of us are subject to conditioning. We grow up and we witness the people, the role models in our lives responding with complaints to when they don't get what they want. We learn that's how it goes. It's how you be. And you get on practicing that and you get great at it. Doesn't have to be that way. That's a pretty big like caveat right there. You're like, oh, by the way, when you respond to reality with negativity, you're acting fraudulent, meaning it's a little aggressive, but I'll stand by it. You're being a little bit phony because it's not like the original you, right? You're just imitating what you've learned, and it doesn't serve you. It's a massive disservice. And the great news is with mental training, we can turn it around. And that is truly amazing, right? If we'll slow down enough to acknowledge, I don't have to respond any way to anything. I get to respond any way to anything, but I can only do that if I practice. So here's the simple practice. Stop complaining. Practice stopping complaining. Stop complaining and practice replacing the complaints with expressions of gratitude or even better, enthusiasm. Cut yourself shaving, right? And look, there's so many opportunities. If the science that I read recently is accurate, humans complain on average once every 11 seconds. That means we got no shortage of opportunity to get into reps here. So catch yourself complaining, cut yourself shaving, and you go, damn it. And then you go, wait, let's get a rep. Oh, all right. And then you just, that alone is growth. You've already broken some neural pattern there of complaint being automatic response. And now you can replace it by going into gratitude. I'm glad that I can grow facial hair. You can come up with any damn thing. I love my Fusion 5 vibrating quadruple razor. I love my bathroom. You know, I love that I get to do blog posts that I'm inspired to shave for. That's a true story. I was actually quite scruffy just moments ago. So catch yourself and replace it with expressions of gratitude. You get on the highway, you're in your car, there's tons of traffic. You, God! Oh, wait, let's get a rep. That's complaint. That's definite, obvious complaint. Let's go ahead and upgrade the hell out of that. Thank you, Dan Patrick, for being so entertaining and having me be able to listen to some good sports talk radio while I'm moving along slowly on the highway. Thank you, people who built this amazing highway. The roads here in Arizona are phenomenal. In my air-conditioned car, thank you for the people who built my car with such great sound system and nice leather seats, and just keep going. And that's practice, right? And that's a rep. Get thousands and thousands of reps and watch. All joking aside, seriously, like watch. When you start accumulating all these reps, you will notice that you're beginning to create auto responses to certain things that you used to auto respond with problematic reactions to. like complaints, and you'll be neutralizing them. And you go, huh. Like for example, one time I came home several years ago, and I was away on a trip in Malaysia. I was gone for a couple of weeks. I came home. My front door was wide open. I lived alone. There was no guests. There was nobody looking after my house. It was me, or it wasn't me. My house was robbed. And this is cool because when I noticed, my response was curiosity. I wasn't happy that my house was robbed, although my preference would be for the future is that I would be. As stupid as that might sound, it isn't. What's really stupid is having a mindless auto response of this sucks. This is and creating anxiety and stress for yourself, and anger and rage. It's not intelligent. It doesn't have us make good moves, and it makes us sick. Quite honestly, right? Anxiety, heart disease, #1 killer. Yep. And we create that anxiety for ourselves. So I actually would prefer that. I'm pleased with the response that I had, which was, I wonder what they took. And I was like, wow, I'm not even freaked out. Wow. And I remember vividly having the thought, well, the training is paying off because this is a pretty cool, like I'm not freaked out. Roger that. I wasn't celebrating. Now, I'll say it again. I am moving in the direction where I go, oh, wow, I was robbed. All right, cool. What excellence can I create from the fact that my house has been robbed, which is a thing I didn't ask for or want. So I will build from it. That's badass. That's where we're going. All right, practice, 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 practice. Get in the reps. Catch yourself complaining. All right, make the commitment that you will complain less today than you did yesterday, or for the rest of today, less than you did earlier today, and less tomorrow than you did today, and so on. All right, and move towards the point where you're really removing complaining until it's non-existent. Imagine that for 1 second, and then I'll let you go. I will excuse you. What the fuck is that? Imagine yourself when you've removed complaining as a thing that you do in your life. Like just for a second, visualize the you of the near future who spends 0 seconds in a complaint state. And instead of the complaint, all there is immediately after a previously like undesired event, which don't exist anymore because you don't have a problem with reality, so nothing's undesirable, it's just curious, you immediately respond with interest, intrigue, fascination, curiosity, or even inspiration and enthusiasm or gratitude. Just visualize that for a moment, because that's where we're going with practice. All right, guys, until next time, great miracles.